Oh my God, this is scary. Just take a listen.
There for minimum wage. So, even if you had a bright idea, even if you could make a car run on water, which can be done, right? And all of a sudden you could become more powerful than the oil companies. It doesn't happen. For 1,000,001 reasons, it doesn't happen. You cannot compete with this structure anymore. And so they've become a breakaway civilization, and they've enslaved our entire country. And so we've become a slave state. We're not a country for, of, and by the people. We're a country for, of, and by the corporation, by the Luciferian corporation, by the Lucent enterprises. And you just couldn't make that stuff up. This has become a nightmare. It's not just like, oh, this is shocking. Oh, what do we do? This has become a nightmare that we cannot wake up from, and that keeps getting worse. And I wonder to myself often enough, where are we really? What year is it? What's going on? Because things just seem to get worse and worse. And in some places, things are so messed up, it's surreal. It's like the Twilight Zone. You go to some of the big cities after dark, it's just like, wow, the demons have come out to play. And that's not an exaggeration. And so, the world is much more mystical, if you will, than people think it is. And it's just, much more bizarre. But you really have to wonder what's going on this planet. Where are we? Why aren't they, telling us anything, that matters in the news? Why is it just complete mindless fluff? Why aren't they telling us about, the stuff that we're asking ourselves on these independent networks? Why don't they bring that stuff up? Sometimes it comes out, but then they just bring it out to ridicule it, to try and keep it, and try and contain it, like the Pizzagate. The only reason they started talking about Pizzagate on the mainstream news was to try and contain it. Then they staged some sort of operation at Comet Ping Pong, and then people were like, oh, I don't want to talk about it anymore. But we need to talk about it, because they are trying desperately to, have you think about something else. They're desperate. But it's coming back, folks. It's coming back. And I think Ben Swan did a huge thing for everybody. He took one for all of us, and he's been basically blackballed off of off the internet. And if they can do that to an anchor, imagine how serious it is. Whatever happened to free speech, right? Oh, a news anchor starts presenting evidence in a credible fashion that implicates the imperial masters, and they yank them straight off the television. If you want to know who's in control, just criticize, the wrong people.
I'm going to go back to here. This is crazy. This is crazy. Listen to this.
Compromising images of children. Things that we certainly deem as inappropriate. This is some of the better stuff, I guess. But they flat...
Hold on. Comet Ping Pong was linked here. I got to rewind it a little bit more.
Truly, what can you say? This is going to start making me upset again, I have a feeling, but we're going to try this anyways. So, here they are in their guide, reported in WorldNet Daily way back in 1999, that this school, this network of 800 schools, elementary, middle school, and high schools, is basically, does their work under the guardianship of the devil. You couldn't make that up, could you? It's right there. And in fact, if you look at, some of their other things, that's not the only time Lucifer comes up. It is rather shocking, in fact. And if you look at their video, because they put out a couple videos this school has, and one of the videos is titled Preparing for Life. And here you have some youngsters, and they look a little confused, vulnerable. And here we have a Luciferian practitioner, a senior lecturer from Stanford University. You can kind of tell by the eyes, it's that aspartame, those aspartame eyes. But in this video, there are some very compromising images of children. Things that we certainly deem as inappropriate. You know, this is some of the better stuff, I guess, but they flash it at you. And it's to kind of let the pedos know this is the kind of institution that it is. And in this video as well, there is quite a bit of, you know, there's quite a bit of numerology. And a strong reference to the number 6, as you can imagine. But I suppose where the story gets even more bizarre is the links between this school network and Comet Ping Pong. It turns out that Comet Ping Pong is a supporter for this school network, and they actually host quite a few different events there, or for them, the local DC branch. And what this is kind of looking like, it's kind of looking like that Boys Ranch scenario, where you've got these places lined up for the stringers, as they're called, and basically you'll have like 1 or 2 teachers or 1 or 2 wicked people there that's just looking for fresh meat. And at first,
remember, guys, on my thing, really quick, when I was looking at Podesta's Pizza Mansion, how it's surrounded by these so-called Christian schools and stuff. I don't know, this is just all getting really gnarly.
So they'll kind of string you along like Milo, and it'll be like, having a relationship with an adult can be a growing experience. And that's how it begins. And somewhere we have the invitations for, here's one. WWS alumni holiday reception, Comet Ping Pong. So I mean, there are strong links between this particular school and Comet Ping Pong, and it's come out that in fact Jimmy Comet is a donor for this school. And so here we have one with the actual logo on it, and the logo, it kind of looks like one of them pedo logos. We were kind of spending a little time searching the different logos that they have on the FBI's website. And
okay, I'm gonna fast forward it to Milo in Bloodbath. Okay, as soon as I saw this, I was like, dude, he's an undercover thing. I heard some of the things that he said today. Could not believe it. People were telling me, dude, he's undercover cult. He was definitely talking pro pedophilia, what they're doing in the media. It's hard to wrap your mind around it because you see him being censored, but they're doing exactly. They're doing the both the right and the left, where it's controlled opposition, and this is definite controlled opposition. Just take a look at Milo in the Bloodbath with all this stuff. This is not how can you be a conservative? I mean, first of all, my alarm bells went off. I'm sorry if you're gay, but when he was gay, but I was going like, oh, maybe he there's just let me play this.
Talking about, how relationships between 13-year-olds and adults can be productive and beneficial. And obviously, it's all skewed towards the homosexual spectrum.
All right, I wanted to get that right there where he's looking at the camera. That's Milo right there in a bath full of blood. And then you have basically Comet Ping Pong linked to this school that basically is it's a Luciferian school. I mean, but it's like hardcore. They just say it right out in the open. This was back when I was graduating high school. It was in 1999. This article came out. So this is getting really crazy. It's a little bit sketchy because you're seeing all of a sudden like this is an occult takeover of America. This is an occult takeover of the Luciferians. The Bible is coming true. Exactly what the Father told us would happen. It's just very hard sometimes to wrap your mind around how we're living in this time. It's unbelievable. I mean, think about just a couple years ago. I mean, the landscape has dramatically changed. I mean, now, Ron was talking about this in here, where if you're not a player, I mean, today, okay, for instance, today you just saw Alex Jones get banned, and they're calling for him to get kicked off the air. And you might disagree or might not like Alex Jones, whatever. I'm for freedom of speech. So when I see Google bullying and then reversing it and saying that they're kicking him off due to, it's just reversed. Everything is reversed. And Google is so big, people say, oh, well, they're a private company. Not when you're working with the government. I'm sorry, not when you're that big. There's monopoly laws that are in place. They have to show all sides of the story. They have to show, they can't ban just one side. Even if you're a Democrat or consider yourself a Democrat or a liberal, it doesn't matter. They're coming after all of us. If you're not Luciferian, they're coming after all of us. This is we have to speak out, or I mean, we have to speak out. This takeover is much stronger and much more coordinated than I had previously thought. This is very scary. Yes, I have Jesus Christ in my heart, but I'm still living in the flesh during this time. So until I'm up with the Father, until I'm, just a spirit, I got to fight I'm not going to just let them take over, for God's sakes. I'm not going to just let them just take over, or I'm going to die trying. Let me play a couple more minutes of this.
And obviously, it's all skewed towards the homosexual spectrum. Little boys should be having relationships with older men. And that's truly, disturbing, but exactly what you would expect from Luciferians. All right. Now, some people might be like, oh, well, this is kind of getting old and just kind of grim and stuff like that. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you look at some of the footage that's out there, there's one video that's been making the rounds called Daisy's Destruction. And this is like a 2-year-old or something that is being tortured.
Just to let you know, I'm going to stop it right there. Do not look at this film. First of all, it's illegal, so do not look at this film. You could probably go on Google because they host images. Do not download or watch the video. It's straight pedophilia. It's straight. You don't want to watch it anyway. You don't even want to have that in your mind. But it is illegal, so I wouldn't mess with it. There's probably pictures, but even that, it's absolutely horrible.
And raped on video. But associated with it are, many other images of various snuff films. And again, it's illegal to possess any of that, to download it, to share it. So, and you wouldn't want to anyways. But the stuff is very disturbing. And once you understand what these people are into, you understand we're not just dealing merely with, Luciferians or cult members. but hardcore psychopaths.